Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant, part of the Ask the Accountant Network, a podcasting network for accountants and bookkeepers supported by our Patreon community for now. As we announced last week, the Patreon community will be going on pause for reasons that we will disclose closer to the time. Of that community, though, we have a series of very cool friends, and they are Paul Whitehouse, Kirsty St. John, Mahul, and Peter Richardson. So thank you for continuing to support the channel. And we will be updating you next week or the week after with what's happening, why it's happening, and what our plans are going forwards with that. As always, though, guys, I am joined on this Monday morning live by Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how was your week?
What a week when you think about it. We had, let me just try and remember all the conferences and things we watched, right? We had the Apple event, which we'll talk about in more detail. Summer Games Fest, which you might not be interested in, but they announced what's called Final Fantasy VII's something over, whatever the new one's called. Anyway, the final in the trilogy, which is very, very exciting. Then we had, there was another thing that happened, another show. Something else happened, and it will come to me in a minute. Then we had this little thing called that local to us called a RAF race. So we went to watch that, and there was like a local YouTuber there that was prominent in it, and it was very, very good fun. And then we had probably one of my favorite races for a long, long time in Formula One. Just seeing that little opportunity to see Lewis Hamilton take the win. And then at the same time, you had a all British quartet at the top, on the top rows. And I felt sorry for Kimi, but that does open up the championship, and he's not going to run away with it. Which I'm in a position this year where I don't really have like a favourite to win it. I think as a the idea that Lewis could come back from here and win it, I think that's a great storyline. Kimi winning it as the youngest ever, that's a great storyline. George Russell winning it, that'll be fine by me as well. So I'm kind of a neutral on the actual final winner. I just want it to be an exciting championship, and I think based on what we saw yesterday, that is definitely going to happen, right? So yeah, absolutely loved it. Loved it. It was a great race. Good strong week for like announcements and news and everything else and all that sort of stuff. I think it was good fun. What about yourself? How was your week?
Yeah, it was going well until Friday night. So I was where was I? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was Buckinghamshire speaking. And Monday night. I also sat there and listened to the Apple WWDC event. Then I was in London on Friday to watch Queen's Tennis, the women's quarterfinals, with the admin team, which was fantastic. The fact that it took me 13 hours to get home due to National Rail losing power to the signal grid. So I got my train at 8:03. I was due to be home by 1 o'clock in the morning. I finally walked through the front door at 6:30 in the morning. We'll glaze over that traumatic experience.
It's all right. It was on first class, so
not for the final 6 hours. I wasn't. But yeah. So yeah, no, it was a good week. Spent a lot of time researching to whether I upgrade the DJI Pocket 3 or not to the Insta Lunar one, which is a very tempting offer. I've just decided, trying to work out, do I hold off for the DJI Pocket 4 Pro announcement in a few weeks to save buyer's remorse, but I'm not convinced.
I don't think that's going to sway you, if I'm honest. I think it is going to be just to see if Insta decide to add a few firmware updates or not.
Yeah.
And turn it into a webcam, it's a no-brainer. But at the moment, yeah, it's a compelling argument. But I suppose it depends for you. It's, how much, or is it going to make your workflow any easier? Because that's what you're using at the moment, isn't it, for your vlogs and stuff?
Yeah, or because obviously for my vlogs, I don't do editing and stuff. I don't do color grading or anything. So it's more of does that purchase improve the quality of the video and the quality of the sound just in default mode? and it looks like it might. So we shall see. And then sat and watched the F1 on Sunday. I can't say it was the best race I've ever watched. I think it was the best outcome.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the race itself was quite dull.
For Barcelona Barcelona, it was a better race than we've had in past, because normally it's Monaco without the walls, right? Sometimes Barcelona.
And
so that was
I
good.
know you've not got a particular favourite for winning the championship. I still want Kimi to win it.
Do you?
Purely because it just
Kimi,
means that Max Verstappen's not the youngest driver to ever win it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, anything to spite him is always a good thing. But as always, guys, we are not here if we're not here for our community every week. So let's go into our community. I've just refreshed my tab because I only had one comment.
Oh no, there's more than that.
Oh, controversial. Oh, when I had one comment, Cheryl was in the lead, but actually Kirsty St. John came in. Right. Well, good morning, everyone. So Kirsty says, good morning, everyone. Sunny in my bit of Cambridgeshire today. Lovely. Cheryl says, good morning from a very hot Zadar in Croatia.
That's just rubbing it in, isn't it?
Meanwhile, overcast.
Yeah. So
no Mr. Sunburn in Edinburgh today. Mahul says, good morning from rainy London. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Morning, Mahul. Stephanie says, morning, gents. Good morning, Stephanie. Paul says, morning, all. Morning, Paul. Clive says, good morning, chaps. Good morning, Clive. Hope you're well. Paul Ingram says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Paul. Nicola says, morning, everyone. Oh, no, sorry. Lisa says, morning. Morning, Lisa. Then Nicola says, good morning, everyone. Then Suzanne says, morning from rainy Henley-on-Thames. And Kirsty says, wow, 6:30. That's a lot of overtime. Yeah. What makes it worse is it was what should have been a 2-hour bus journey took 4 hours in a 36-year-old bus. And the reason it took 4 hours is because every time the driver tried to take it past 40 miles an hour, you heard the engine kind of revving to the point of combustion. So we're going up the A1, 40 miles an hour, which isn't safe to start with. And every time there was a gust of wind, you hit the rumble strips. So feared for my life.
And he didn't get his free beer or whatever he would normally get on.
I got them beforehand. And to be fair to the LNER staff, they were like they went round and gave everyone because they said, oh, it's going to be late. So they went round, gave everyone some bottles of water, a sandwich, crisps. Like the staff themselves could not have been any better.
Good.
So it's just the choice of a bus. Which
don't worry about it. We're about to it's about to be nationalised. The whole train network.
Oh, it's going to be better.
Exactly. When that happens, you're never going to have a problem like this again. You know what I mean? We'll all have the same coloured thing. We'll have the same experience. So Yeah.
Although it did surprise me that we don't have a backup power for something as important as the national signalling grid of the UK's train service. Don't need backup for that.
I'm sure. I mean, what about just sticking the reds out the window and just keep an eye on what's ahead of him? You know what I mean? With a torch.
Peter from AIM-GB Accountants says, morning, Peter. St. Newt, that is Tim from Guernsey says, good morning, Tim. Cloudy in Guernsey today. One of our team was delayed by a sinkhole near Gatwick. Wow. Not where you want a sinkhole. All right. That'll confuse the alt monitor on the altitude monitor on the plane. landing. Hang on, we're 20 foot down. Stephanie says, if it helps, took over 3 hours to get back from Wembley on Friday night. Should have taken an hour and a half max.
But that's normally the case with what?
Oh, oh no, they closed the M25.
I was going to say.
Oof. Yeah, not friendly. Right. Okay, let's backpedal here. Let's go back to Monday. So Monday night.
There we are. Reversed.
We need to pay for some decent sound effects.
Well, based on my experience, I'm never doing sound effects on a video again.
Minor litigation issue
for another day.
So rewind to Monday. We were sat there ready for WWDC, Apple's event. The announcements of what softwares we're going to, what features and functionality we're going to be using in 2027, basically, or from September this year.
Yes.
Aaron, what are your thoughts? Before I go into it,
well, first of all,
got hands on.
First of all, I missed it, the actual liveness of it, because I was preoccupied with the last ever episode of QuickBooks Labs. So, Apple, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be clashing with the QuickBooks Labs thing. I mean, you don't have to worry about it again going forward, but in future. No, what they announced, really, really, really good. I am obviously skeptical because we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It was 2 years ago when we were in Edinburgh, and we were watching it at the same time in person, weren't we? We weren't at the event, but we were in the same room watching it. And I'll always remember kind of there. Time I looked over to you, like, well, I'm deleting that app, I'm deleting that app, deleting that app, and he actually deleted it there and then. Some of the apps, since reinstalled them, I may add, but things like Grammarly and stuff got deleted there and then. The term Sherlocking came to phrase, wasn't it, when we were kind of going through. But what they showed of the capabilities and everything is what we need Siri to be, right? And I think from a business point of view, it is that. And you've said this a few times, it is that one thing we're kind of missing. We love our OpenAI, we love our Claude, we love all the little tools we've got, but they're very all closed up in their own little ecosystem, which means that we have to manually let it do X, Y, Z, or get involved with that. And then you've got data protection, you've got all sorts, right? So the idea that one solution that can access all of that data in a secure, on-device manner was always appealing to us. And I think Apple's the only one that can realistically pull that off, from what I can tell. I think, your Androids and Microsoft have shown that they've kind of can only take it so far. But from a business point of view, the idea that we could get Siri to actually be useful for us from a work point of view, to try and find stuff for us, to book meetings, whatever it needs to be, right? Like it seems like it's got the legs to be able to do that, and that's what's exciting for me. Will it be able to pull it off? Again, a little bit skeptical based on 2 years ago, been there, done that, got a t-shirt. But I'd imagine this time around, and you'll be able to tell us because you'll be able to play with it, but I imagine this time around they've learned from those mistakes. they've got there. What I would say was interesting is there was no updates to bits that really, really like affect my workflow. So Final Cut Pro was completely not there. I was expecting something to come from Final Cut Pro. So Final Cut Pro is the software we use to edit our videos, etc. Right? So I was expecting finally an update to that, because that's become a subscription-based one. So now they've got revenue behind it to start like plowing into feature upgrades that's needed and everything else. So I was excited to see maybe what AI could do in the video editing world, if they could finally figure out a way to make it so that you can collaborate on a video together, right? Like two people in different locations can work on one. Like those sort of things I was excited to see, and it never materialized. And then on a personal level, what happened to it was good to see the Vision Pro still there, so all 5 of us still get some use out of it, right? So 5 of us in the world can finally continue to use the Vision Pro. That was good. But what happened to the Apple TV and the HomePod, right? Like those two suspiciously missing from the updates, right? Like if anyone needed Siri updates, it was going to be that, right? That's what needed those updates. So yeah, overall interesting one. You can see where they're going in terms of like the fold and stuff that they're talking about. So that seems like it's a dead cert now. Seems like that comes soon. Go from there. But yeah, what was your opinion, and what's hands-on been like? Is it what we think it's going to be? Do we believe they've finally nailed it?
So skipping to the hands-on part, yes.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But what they've said is there, give or take a few bits. So Grammarly is now gone from my phone.
That's big.
So that's gone. Like I'm really impressed with their speed, with their Grammarly, with their grammar and spelling stuff. That's very good.
What about, because I don't know if you, because I know you have a separate solution, but I've been using quite a lot Grammarly's speech to text interface.
So,
and I know you use something else, don't you? But that's where I'm still holding on to Grammarly. Yeah.
But I've turned it off for the last week to see how I get on with Apple's
Interesting.
new enhanced dictation. It's okay. It's better than it was. I don't know if it's if it's as good as Whisperflow yet, but we are still on beta 1 version 1.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a newer version to come out tonight. So they tend to update this every week for the next 12 weeks until it's released publicly in September. So we normally see enhancements and tweaks to it as they find things when they're going through. So dictation is better, but not as good as things like Whisperflow. The draft emails, draft messages and stuff isn't there yet.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to when that is there. So yeah, I think the framing of this has been made quite clear now. I don't think this is really for business.
Oh, really?
This isn't an executive assistant. This is a personal assistant to help you keep your family diary up to date, for example. So, for example, Tom last week from Adfin sent me through a PDF of which had a table in it telling us who's playing in what order on which court at Queen's Tennis on Friday.
Yeah.
So I had that on my screen and I said, hey, I won't say it because it will trigger everything. Can you add the fixtures for the Andy Murray court to my calendar? Done. All 5 games added, no problems. It only had times on the document for the first game, so it then kind of guessed the next lot were going to be every half an hour between each game. So yeah, it did that, no problems at all. So I can see a lot of benefits to it, but it's a personal assistant. Like yesterday, my mother-in-law was coming around for dinner, so I used it. I used the app, the Siri AI app. I said, "Oh, find me a chicken and mushroom risotto recipe. Find me a rhubarb crumble recipe." And it did. It took me through it all. I had to point out a couple of times that it hadn't actually given me any quantities of ingredients. It just told me what ingredients. So yeah, from a personal point of view, personal assistant point of view, I think it's going to be great. Is it going to be a workplace one? I don't know. But also, I don't know if Apple thinks that's worth the effort. Because if it is, you've got to get your IT teams to sign off on it being on phones, work phones and stuff.
Yeah, good point.
So, we all know IT teams can be a bit particular about what they will and won't allow to connect to what. So yeah, I'm enjoying using it. There's still a few key bits that I would love for it to, it will be out in the next couple of weeks, I imagine. But they've definitely learnt the lesson of should we be announcing things that we haven't actually built yet? So
yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no major like change quality of life improvements. I felt like, like we were saying last week, the most important thing that came out of last year's one was the phone screening feature.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not there yet, but we'll see. There was nothing like that small but mighty kind of coming out. Although EQ on your AirPods, so you can tune them.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But on the screen calling, they did flip that on its head, and it was contextual enough to be able to bring you stuff, right? So the example they showed was you phoned up an airline to talk about one of your things, and it would go through your emails and whatever, and it will bring up the details of that flight for you while you're on the call, which sounds great because the idea is then you don't have to go find it and all that sort of stuff. If you flip that to a work scenario, okay, by the sounds of it, doesn't sound like they're going to be able to achieve this. But imagine you phoned up HMRC and you said, I'm talking about client XYZ. or you prompted it, you were going to talk about X, Y, Z, and it brought up that information for you, so you don't have to find it yourself. Like that's potentially where we could get with this one day, right?
And I've not seen that
I've since, I've since heard that it's never going to get that clever anyway, because it doesn't listen to your actual conversation.
Right.
All it knows is you phoned telephone number.
Yeah. Right.
And it tries to connect the dots. Maybe find something in your calendar. It says it could find something in your calendar that kind of. So from a flight point of view, it probably has enough touch points to connect the dots, right? To go, right, let's serve you with the information you need. From a work point of view, you're probably not going to have enough information to go, yeah, you're calling about this.
Yeah. And so it did take 4 days for my phone to index. So basically to make Siri search more powerful, once you install iOS 27, it starts indexing everything in your phone, and that's literally everything, messages, the works. And
and does it do to your Mac as well and your iPad and all of them?
Yes, everything on the same accounts all gets indexed.
Wow.
But I'll tell you what, the search function is phenomenal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I literally said to it the other day, like, oh, what's my passport number? Found it.
Yeah.
Because there's a picture of my passport on my phone from ages ago when I had to send proof of who I was. So yeah, incredible bit of kit. So, and this is just the beginning. So we'll see what else comes, what else happens. But so far, so good. And what they've said is coming, I've seen majority in the real environment and using it. So that is good. Now, speaking of softwares that slightly different, it was here and then it's gone again. Did you get a chance to play with Claude Fable 5 before Mr. Trump decided it was a national security threat and had to shut it down?
I didn't know. You're going to have to talk us through it. Did you get a chance to play with it?
Oh, it rewrote my whole website in about 2 hours. So Claude launched Fable 5 on Wednesday. Now, Fable 5 was a beast of a model. Absolute, like, Ash from Engager and Taxcalc, he started playing with it to create some videos and animations. What it was producing was incredible and incredibly quick as well, considering what it was producing. I decided to say, oh, here's my current website. It needs a lick of paint. Can you help me come up with a new website? And we spent 5-10 minutes strategizing together about it and what we do and don't want and stuff. And it suggested some options. Then it built what was like a 10-page website, and it gave me all the HTML code files and all the code. So it's all properly written in code rather than me using WordPress and stuff. So the load speeds are far quicker than they were.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I mean, I've had prices for that, replacing that website and updating it, ranging from, I think the cheapest price I got was £8,000.
Pretty, yeah. Right.
The most obscene was 25. So, I mean, people say accountants are at risk because of AI. I don't think we are. I think it's there to enhance what we're doing. I think what's at risk is people like website builders, graphic designers, like the on-point accounting branding. That's all from Google Gemini, Nano Banana 2 about a year ago. So it's, yeah, I think creative people might be at risk, where a firm, like a business, doesn't want anything overly creative or complex. They just want something better than where they are today.
Yeah, or they just simply don't have that budget, right? Like,
yeah, or if they don't have that budget, they'll still achieve it because they can use something like Claude. So yeah, I mean, it just baffled me then when I got the message over the weekend saying, "Oh, Fable 5 is no longer available because President Donald Trump's seen it as a security risk and said it can't be used outside the US." So who knows what's going on there? But yeah, no, I mean, it just shows though, doesn't it, that the rate of improvement in AI is at a pace none of us can keep up with, and we need to start implementing it in our workflows.
Yeah.
So, a couple of weeks ago, did I tell you guys the story about Xero reconciling?
Gone.
So a couple of weeks ago, one of my team members rang me about 5 o'clock on Friday night saying, "I'm really sorry, Johann. I've got a client who's desperate for their accounts on Monday. It's a catch-up job. We've not looked after them before. And I've said to them, I'm going to do it over the weekend, but they've just sent me all the files. And there's like 5,000 bank transactions over 2 years.
Yeah.
And they've made a right mess of Xero by adding transactions manually on top. So they sent me the bank statements, which were PDF, and they sent me a CSV, which was from Xero of all the transactions in Xero. I stuck it into Claude, told it what I wanted it to do, and it did it in 10 minutes whilst I was busy ironing a shirt.
Yeah.
Like, that is where we need to be using tools like this. Like, because if you don't start using AI for catch-up jobs and stuff like that, like, that would have taken my team member probably all week to do and would have cost the client a fortune. Whereas now we were able to get that data processing job out of the way of and spend more time with helping the client get ahead and plan and use the like Xero and stuff properly. So we said to them, look, we've managed to get this job done really easily in the end. Here's your accounts. We've actually done it so efficiently that actually some of that money that you paid us is now we're going to reallocate that and we'll do a couple of hours of Xero training with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the client can't stop singing our praises, and we've had free referrals off the back of it because we've spent time doing a higher value thing. So, and the client's now taking out more services with us going forwards, whereas it was going to be a wait and see, let's do the catch-up job, then I might look at signing up to you permanently. So, yeah, they've now signed up permanently and they've referred 3 friends to us already.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how we need to be using AI. Yes, it's great to do a website, and I've been playing with the concept of like sending out an AI built onboarding form so clients can fill out their own records and stuff in a bit more of a supportive way than what Engage's form does. So it's more like, so if someone gets stuck on something, they can ask the form like, oh, where do I find my UTR number, for example, and it will talk them through it. I keep breaking it, but I'm playing with the idea.
Yeah, it's a bit like content snare, that sort of idea.
Yeah. So yeah, it's we just need to embrace AI, and if we're not, then those people will be made redundant ultimately. It's like people not embracing data capture in the form of auto entry, Dext, Apron, etc. Like, if you don't use it, then you're going to be outpaced and lapped by your competitors.
Yeah. And you're right about the creative industry, because I do worry about it, because over the weekend I've been playing with one of the AI tools that's designed just for video, just so we can kind of enhance the video content we're already doing, put B-roll in and stuff like that. And I was just playing around with it. And I'll release it over the next couple of days, but I did a really quick like example of how it can be done. I took one photo in my B-roll in my phone at the moment, and the photo I've already shared, so you'll all see it when it comes out. But I put it into this solution, and I scripted out what I wanted to happen, and one photo created a 15-second little video. And it looks like someone had shot it for me, right? And with motion captured the thing and all that sort of stuff. It looks absolutely insane. There's a lot of kind of curve to learning it. I mean, if I did as well, just dump it in and just put animate this as like that was my prompt. And in the end, I did like a proper script, and told it, basically directed what I wanted to do. And like anything in the AI world, if you give it the right prompt and you learn that way of actually interacting with the solution, absolutely, you get some amazing results out of it. But that would have taken someone a couple of days to animate, I'd imagine. That's like, it does make me worried about the creative industry, because that, that is something that for me, like, I just need that, it's for a piece of social content that, it if it was, there was a certain budget I'd have in mind for it, maybe, but if anything above that budget, I just wouldn't have even considered doing it. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm just gonna use this tool going forward, get those enhancements in, throw it out there, and job done, isn't it? So, yeah, it is going to be a scary world, isn't it, for the creative industry going forward?
It is. It is. Cool. So let's have a quick look at the comments before we
Yeah,
move on to our next headlines. Mahal says, I will have to watch the next 2 episodes I'm recording, as next week flying out to Germany, and we're on the flight during the live, and the following next Monday coming back. Lovely. I do love a trip to Germany.
nice.
Love their cities, their beer, their food, and yeah, just a very nice place to visit. Catherine says, good morning. Love rhubarb crumble. In fact, any crumble, actually. Yeah, I do love a rhubarb crumble, especially when the rhubarbs come out the garden.
My only thing about rhubarb is, and I don't know what part of my brain this kind of relates to, but my only thing is that you're not guaranteed with that first bite how rhubarb's going to be. Is it tart or is it sweet?
Yeah.
And my brain can't comprehend that. Like, the idea that I'm going to take it is like, is this sweet? Is this tart? And I like both, so it's not like I've got preference to one or the other.
It's the
But
unknown.
it's the unknown, exactly. And I'm like, oh, like, I love rhubarb, but it just freaks me out every time I try and go to eat it. And I'm like, oh my days, what's this going to be?
Fair enough. I get that, though. I do get that. Mahal says, last week's bonus show too. I need to watch that as well. So, well, there you go. Mahal, you've got plenty of watching for On the Plane.
Oh,
Get it
wait,
downloaded.
there wasn't a bonus show last week. It didn't
Oh,
happen. I was stuck in traffic or whatever, and I couldn't make it back. And yeah, it never happened. We'll
okay.
make sure it's
Fine.
recorded. In fact, me and yeah, we'll try and figure out it this week, and try and get some record for you.
And Alexis says, oh, do you mind sharing what tool, Aaron? That sounds amazing.
Oh, OpenArt is openart.ai. Yeah, highly recommend it. Really, really good. Ridiculously good priced as well, from what I've been using it for. It's very credit based, so you buy however many credits, you use them how you want to. It's very upfront about what that project's going to cost you in terms of credits, and off to the races you go. Really, really, really good. As of anything, there's a learning curve to it, but yeah, a weekend and I feel very confident in getting what I need out of it, at least.
Right. And Nicola's sharing her cooking tips here. For rhubarb, you should bake it with sugar to get the real nice sweet taste. The question is, though, how much sugar? Because if it's a tart bit of rhubarb, you need more sugar. If it's a sweet bit of rhubarb, you need less sugar.
And how do you know if it's sweet or tart before you cooked it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's all well and good for your own, but what about if you go out, like, to a restaurant or something, and there's rhubarb on the menu? Is it sweet or is it tart? Like,
this is more
many a night
complex
I've
than the
lost
Matrix.
Many a night I've lost sleep. This is where AI should be fixing things. Do you know what I mean?
Is this rhubarb tart or sweet?
If it's Claude, it'll be like, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
You've got a mouth, I haven't. Taste it and find out. Grow up, you wimp. That's how my Claude would talk to me anyway.
Yeah. So let's talk accounting specific news now. So we have got 2 bits of news really for the week. First one is Companies House have finally confirmed for now that in 2028 accounts will have to be filed via software and will be publicly available. The full P&L will be publicly available on the website of Companies House. However, there's going to be an opt-out option. So, like the organ donor process, everyone is opted in by default. If you don't want to do it, you opt out. So come April 2028, everyone will be opted in by default, and you have to opt out. Well, I put an email out to all of our clients about this last week on the morning after it got announced, saying, look, guys, just so you know, this is coming. Don't panic. There is going to be an opt-out option once we get closer to the time. The number of emails I've had back already saying, please opt me out as soon as possible. Like, it's ridiculous. So what Companies House now needs to do, I think, is they need to actually explain to our clients the benefits of not opting out. Because at the moment, the clients are all the clients are seeing is that's my profit and loss. And what we have always been told is sensitive financial information available to the public gaze. So what's the benefit of making it public to the business and the business owner?
Yeah.
We know what it is to HMRC, although HMRC have already got this information, so I don't see why we need to make it public. We know what it is to Companies House, and okay, Companies House don't technically get this information, but HMRC have got it. Can they not? Like, they're both the government organisation. Can they not see what it is from HMRC? What we don't understand is what Companies House thinks the benefits are to the business owner. Like, if you look at MTD VAT and MTD IT, they had justifications as to why they thought quarterly filing would be beneficial to the tax filer.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're more in tune with what your tax bill is going to be in a year's time. It helps you potentially budget for that tax bill. Blah blah blah. It helps. You've got your more up to date records because you're using software.
Yeah.
They had
quarterly payments potentially.
Yeah, like for as thinly veiled sometimes as the benefits alleged they were claiming were, ultimately they had some weight behind it. So what are the benefits going to be for publicly sharing your profit and loss? Like, is this going to make borrowing money easier? Is it going to make applying for credit accounts with suppliers easier? Like, what are the tangible benefits going to be? Otherwise, everyone's just going to opt out.
Yeah,
I'm going to spend the whole of April 2028 opting people out of this because they don't see any benefit to them as the business owner. So yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Aaron, what are your thoughts on this news?
I'm worried, massively worried, because Companies House have a precedent of making these changes, not testing it, and we having to pick up the pieces, right? So yeah, it's all good having this opt-out solution, but in theory, or in practice, have I got confidence they're going to test this out and make sure this is going to work? Because think about it from our point of view, right? We're going to have to update our engagement letters. We're going to have to take that risk on, right? We are filing on behalf of a client, and our client's going to have a preference on opt-in or opting out, right? You can make a decision if that's going to be something that's chargeable or not chargeable. I don't know. Like, that's up to the individual accountant to decide, right? But they're going to have engagement letters that are going to categorically say we're going to have mechanisms in place to make sure that we're asking our clients, do they want to opt in? Do they want to opt out? Do we need software companies to like update their signing credentials now to get to ask that at the same time? Like, there's going to be all these questions in, right?
Yeah.
When we ask our clients to review a set of accounts ready for submission, do we need to have it there that it's the opt-in, opt-out? That for us as accountants and for the software vendors that help us produce that, there's a lot of work involved to get this right? And we're going to have to spend some time. We're going to have to figure out our procedures. We're going to figure out our controls. We're going to figure out our processes, engagement lists, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have to get this right and deliver this for our clients. Have I got confidence that Companies House are going to do the same? Not at all. Not with what happened with ACSP. And I can see it now. Like, I'm still at this position where I've got now 4 ACSP codes to my name, right? Because I've kicked the tires, I've tried to break the system, and I found ways to break the system at each turn, right? Like, the idea that they tested and got ASCP and all that lot right completely derails my confidence in what they're about to release. Because what's going to happen, or what my fear is going to happen, is a client's going to ask for it to be opted out. We're going to tick the right box in our software. We're going to have everything all play. We're going to press the submit button, and the full set of accounts are going to appear on Companies House, right? And Companies House will be like, well, there was a there was a flying unicorn at the same time that you press submit. So, it's out of our control. Like, they're not going to take ownership of this, right? Like, of course not. And they're going to make it very difficult for us to retrospectively change anything if we have. So that frustrates me, right? Because I've got no confidence in them testing this. There's gonna be ending up people, and it's going to be us that's going to pick up the problems that's going to arise from it. Going to have some very upset clients, and potentially, like, we're going to put ourselves at risk, right? If the client's asked to opt out, we've ticked the opt out button, we've submitted it, we're at fault. Like, we can't blame the software company. We can't blame Companies House, apparently. So that's my biggest, like, frustration about this, is that we're going to be asked to do a lot of extra work here.
Yeah.
And we're going to be very reliant on Companies House, who have a track record of not being able to deliver a robust solution, right? So that frustrates me. My other frustration is that, isn't this just going to create a two-tier approach now that they've decided to opt in, opt out? Like, why are we going down this route? And it's either one way or the other. I don't see what this whole idea of opt in, opt out is going to achieve, other than we're going to have this two-tier approach. So we're going to have some clients who are going to be better equipped to be able to get themselves funding, like you were saying there. They're going to be better equipped at getting credit ratings and all that sort of stuff, and whatever else those benefits. Like you said, they still need to tell people what those benefits are, but we're going to have a group of clients who are going to be better affected at that. And then we're going to have a group of clients who aren't going to be better affected because they've rightly or wrongly decided to opt in. And I don't think at this point there's enough information to, like you said, to know if it is right or wrong to opt out. Like, as a county firm, should we be opting in or should we be opting out? Like, we're people who understand this and work with this day in, day out. I can't tell you if it's the right thing to do to opt in or opt out as an accounting firm at this point in time.
Yeah.
And we're people in the know. So we're going to have this two-tier approach in our small businesses that's on Companies House. We're going to have people who opt in, people who opt out. And, is Companies House going to give the foresight to make that easy to understand or not understand? And if they do make that easy to understand, not understand, is that suddenly going to put almost like a red flag to people? Or they've opted out, so that company can't be worth its, a lot of people use companies to go out there and bit of smoke and mirrors, right? Maybe they're a one-man band, but they want to make themselves a lot bigger. So they've got a Companies House, they've got this amazing registered office, they've got VAT registration, blah blah blah. They're winning contracts and they're delivering on those contracts. Ultimately, probably they shouldn't be, but they're doing it because they're good at what they're doing. They're winning work. Everyone's happy. The economy's happy. Blah blah blah. And then suddenly, they've opted out. So they're they're not a higher tier thing for that's what's going to happen, right? We're going to create this two-tier approach, and it's just the fact that they've given an option they think is to satisfy both parties. All they're doing is creating a divide that I just don't see a benefit to. And I think ultimately we're just going to end up having this mess coming our way. And the small businesses at the moment, they don't have that. Like, we've gone through too many changes, too many upheavals at the moment. Like, it could easily be a straw that breaks the camel's back at the moment. And I just don't see the benefit of
it. That's it, though, isn't it? Like, so is this going to be a high level at Companies House website? We can just go, this company has opted out, and that's it. Or do we have to opt out at every set of accounts we file? And if either way, whichever way we do it, one of the reasons that they've given for having the opt-out option is for privacy and data protection and concerns about, like, someone might need to put less information up at Companies House in public view because of domestic abuse or whatever else matters. So does that mean we can actually let's say you don't have that issue today, but in a year's time you do have that issue? Can I go through and retrospectively opt out my accounts retrospectively for security concerns? Or once it's there, is it there forever? Like, as per usual, it's kind of a headline with absolutely no detail behind it apart from a date, which we've had that before. So we'll see if this one actually comes to fruition. But and then it's like you said, credit scores and stuff. What if the government organisations decide that actually, if you're going to go and tender for a contract, you have to have opted in or stayed
Exactly.
opted in.
Yeah.
Like your business won't be considered for tendering for big companies because those companies have changed their policy to, well, actually, we want to see your P&L at Companies House.
Yeah. Which, if
So
I was
like,
the big company, of course I'd say that, right? Like, you're
yeah,
protecting yourself. It's, and I get that, but then again, you're creating this divide in the small business community, and they, I can't fathom why they've gone down this route of and if there was an opt-in, opt-out, it should be opt-out on exceptional circumstances. And I don't want that, right? I don't want to have public P&L things. I think that's wrong. I don't
yeah,
like that idea. But I think what's even worse is this opt-in, opt-out. And to
yeah,
your point, maybe I'm overcomplicating it. In my mind, I'm thinking that when you submit, you decide there and then if you're opting in or opting out, because that's kind of how it is at the moment, right? Like, if you submit confirmation statement, you decide how much information you're
yeah,
going to put on there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but maybe it is a trigger at the top and you turn it on and off, and maybe then it won't be as dramatic as I'm making out. But I don't have faith in Companies House to think about that. I don't have faith that they're going to consider that, implement that, test that, put that through its paces. And that's not me being overly critical, because of, I think that's just basing it on what we've seen in the past, what, 6 months,
yeah.
9 months, whatever the time frame's been, right?
I
Like,
mean, what Companies House really actually need, thinking about it, if you look at how HMRC are doing MTD at the moment,
yeah,
what Companies House actually need is like a Craig or a Sam Wood,
yeah,
who is in liaison and representing Companies House with the accounting and bookkeeping industry. Like, Craig and Sam do an absolutely phenomenal job with their
100%.
communication, attending events, talking to people, being approachable. Companies House need people like that for this to come across and to work, and for that feedback to go into them, because Companies House don't really have any ways of getting this feedback into them apart from through official consultations that I'm not convinced they actually do much with anyway.
No, not at all. And like, the best thing to ever happen to MTD was Companies House, the ACSP reform and all that lot, right? Because it just showed how, yeah, we can be frustrated with MTD from time again, and there can be kind of frustrating, but if you did a comparison of how they delivered MTD compared to how ACSP was delivered, 9 day, like
Yeah,
absolutely 9 day. So yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried for how that's going to be for us, and I'm worried for, like, I just feel like there's a lot of chatter at the moment that I'm certainly having. I'm sure you are having at the same time, like, because we've made acquisitions in the past. Suddenly, there's a lot of people wanting to talk to us about what their next steps for their practice, blah blah blah, right? And everyone's at that teetering point. Of, they just want out. Like, there's too much pressure at the moment. There's too much going on, and I think
yeah,
this is something that's could potentially really genuinely be the straw that broke the camel's back, because it may sound like a small change, but it's not. It's not just the fact that we've got to now consider the thing. It's the fact that the commercial software is mandatory going forward.
yeah,
And I was at an event on Wednesday, so I went to a, what do you call it, a network, whatever, a fair, a business fair. We had a little stand up, and we did our whole little chittering, and people coming to our stand and all this and the other, right? And one of the people who came up to me was just moaning about how they're taking away the what do you call it, but they didn't know about this news that it's been pushed back a year, right? But they've been doing their own accounts, own everything else. They were pretty happy with it. But what their frustration is that they were buying, they were QuickBooks, but they, no matter what software they use, their frustration is they were buying software, and their assumption was that we'll be able to file their accounts for them within the software, and that's never going to be an easy solution. And there's never, and these softwares are constantly fighting. Well, do we allow that? Do we not? Is that going to annoy our accountant partners and bookkeeping partners? There's a whole thing of that. Now you're creating that discourse, that conversation, that problematic thing again. You're going to have you have companies or small businesses who are now forced to you know get an accountant / bookkeeper to file their accounts going forward, because they don't have the software to do it, right? Like, you're just creating more and more pressure points. and I'm not 100% sure what you're gaining from it. I'm struggling to figure out what the overall benefits.
Whatever the benefits were, you've just diluted it by having opt-outs.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a mess, complete mess. I think people like Free Agent are going to do really well out of this because they're the ones that they've got the safeguards in place. They've got all of the software already there. They've got nice support networks. I think they're the ones, for them, they should see this as another MTD, right? It's this next.
I imagine Sage doing quite well out of this as well.
Oh,
because they've already got the relationships with all the different banks.
Yeah.
They've got the bookkeeping now. So this is just another bit of the process for them to get on.
Yeah, those two are really kind of positioned, aren't they, in a good state for it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I started reading through and I started kind of looking at it. And I just filled me with dread. And I'm the sort of person I'm normally. I embraced MTD. I joined when there was 5 of us. All this and I would happily kick the tires for Company's House on this next one because I'm that worried about it, right? We ain't going to get the chance to do that, right? They won't. They don't learn from their mistakes, and it's just filled with dread with it.
Unless anyone's listening that knows anyone at Company's House and they want to say, look, get these guys in to help you, because we're willing to spend time talking to them and helping them, but because it's in the interest of the industry, and in Company's House. But
someone needs to, right? Someone needs to help them because they just
definitely. Paul says Company's House need to fix their submission issue first. Well, I think, Paul, the submission issue is fixed by mandating software. Normally, the only place I see submission issues is when someone's done it through the Company's House website. So, as long as they've got the...
There was a few kind of ups and downs when there over the last couple of months, wasn't there? But you're right. If it was just mandated, it probably means that they can make that absolutely bulletproof.
And Susanna says rhubarb and ginger crumble is even better. Oh, there we go.
At least you know what you're getting there, right? Because the ginger should overpower the rhubarb. But
and our final article for today, with 5 minutes left, HMRC multi-factor authentication update. Aaron, you have seen some news on this.
I certainly have. I've just trying to get the dates up, actually. Let me give me 20 seconds just to bring them up so we're telling you the right figures, numbers. But yeah, it's all come to fruition. Basically, HMRC will activate multi-factor authentication on agents' accounts between the 28th of September and the 15th of October 2026, unless the agent opts out for one of 2 earlier dates by completing an online form. But as we were saying off air, that online form looks very sus.
So, it's proper dodgy.
I'm sure it's absolutely fine, but they definitely didn't take their time, HMRC, in making that look like it was a legitimate form. So basically we've got a deadline. The deadline's fast approaching. Is this going to cause us main headaches and everything else? Yeah, this really is. Is this one of those ones where actually the end result, we can understand it and we can kind of get behind? Actually, yeah, we do. Yeah. Like security and everything else, really important with this sort of stuff, right? I just know from a personal practice point of view, this is not going to land well with the team in terms of how we're going to prepare, get this right, and everything else. And I don't know about you,
but I've no issue with it because we've got 2-factor on everything these days. But my main issue is the amount of time it's going to take from someone in my team to. We can go in and create all the team members users, fine. You've got to go into each client and assign the team members.
No, really?
Yeah. There's no bulk assigning.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I'm not played around with enough. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a bloody nightmare.
But there's obviously an API ready for a piece of software to come and do that for.
Don't be silly. Yeah, this is going. It's not the multi-factor bit that's going to be the pig. It's which staff members have access to see which clients is going to be the pig. Because they've not built it out to make life easy at all. Regardless of the dodgy Microsoft Forms or whatever powered form they've sent. I saw some screenshots on social media the other day. I wouldn't be filling that form in. Put it that way. It looks proper dodgy.
Yeah.
Like I've had more legitimate looking emails telling me that I'm the heir for a fortune from a prince of Saudi Arabia than that form looks.
I just know this is gonna become such a pain barrier, and it comes back to my point we've made a few times. Like, what should we be attaching to our software going forward as a you know as the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So you could say we're practice owners, should be our IDs, like we're a safe pair of hands, we get them on there, right? But what if it's 4:30 on the 7th of the month, and the connection's fallen down, and they need you to reconnect it, right? What does that mean? We've got to be on call 24/7 to go in and do that, or is it going to be okay to kind of someone else to put their credentials in just to get them over that thing, or is that going to cause some sort of conflict that's going to throw out bits and everything else, and right? Like that's where my concern comes in, because maybe you've got a head of operations that's a good safe pair of hands as well. What if they're on holiday, or they hand the notice in, or do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's where this becomes really, really problematic, is that how do we give that? And then you got to tell your team, like, yes, you could. I think you've already said that you give everyone their mobile phone or whatever, or whatever it's going to be. But if not, you're going to have to ask your team members to put their own mobile phone numbers in to get past the
Yeah.
two-factor authentication. And I suppose they're already doing that for QuickBooks and everything else. But HMRC seems definitely would be a step over that moral compass, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Like asking a team member to just stick in a mobile phone number for QuickBooks or Xero, fair enough. Like that's like, yeah, like they can, yeah, they might get a bit of marketing now and again, but they can opt out of that. That's fine. But HMRC feels like you're asking quite a lot from your team. And yeah, maybe handing out mobile phones fine, but you just mentioned there about like security on that phone and all this sort of stuff and blah 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 blah. And suddenly you've got to manage that and you've got to look after that. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just becomes painful. And I've seen kind of solutions out there where I'm not condoning this or promoting it. I'm just saying that I've seen this chitter chatter working around where people are still going to have that one central solution, but they're going to, have a centralized two-factor authentication solution, and everyone can then get the two-factor kit and they can opt in and everything else. And I can see that as a, as a workaround, and I can see that as a way to people to be able to kind of continue doing what they're doing with a little bit more friction. But I think from the intention of what's happening and reading and going back to what we spoke about last week about screen scraping and everything else, HMRC are getting hotter and hotter and hotter, right? So if suddenly you've got multiple people logging into the same account from various locations, what's to stop them from putting a ban on your account or a warning on your account, like Netflix does, right? Like if you try and watch Netflix in multiple areas and multiple IP addresses, you're asking for trouble. And I don't know for sure, but I imagine HMRC intentions would be, let's stop people from accessing the same account from multiple places. So I just feel like this is something that we've got to bite the bullet
down on it at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this is the writing's on the wall, isn't it? That we're going to all have our own individual accounts, but they're going to have to open up APIs. That's the only way.
Speaking of passwords, though, that does remind me, there's a very cool feature in Apple's WWDC thing where the password app now knows whether you've got a weak password or if you've used the same password in more than one place, and it can now go in at your instruction and change the passwords of that login to be a more secure password. I let it go. The only time it fell down is if there's two-factor authentication involved, because it can't get past the 2FA, and there's no prompt to say, "Can you enter the code here, please?"
Yeah, but that's amazing, and I love that idea. Until you get your HMRC account banned, because it goes, "Oh, your HMRC password's a little bit weak," and somehow it gets through two-factor. Imagine it could just jump through the two-factor authentication, right? But then it's screen scraping, so your account gets banned.
Yeah. Oh, the
HMRC
joys.
like, no, we said no to that.
We don't want you having a secure password, sir, no matter how you're doing it. The
Yeah.
joys. Right, Aaron, what have you got on this week, mate?
Manchester tomorrow, isn't it, for Fusion? So if anyone's there, say hi. I'm there in the afternoon. Elevate Media, which has been popping up, is my official reason for being there. And then it's Sage. I'm sure I'm allowed to say, yeah, why not? Sage on Thursday for the Accounting Council, which should be very interesting. Very excited to be invited to that and to see what they've got their sleeve and everything else. But no, that generally really, really
Someone about
excited
to
for it.
turn a different colour of green.
No, of course not. Although, no, I'm joking. I'm just keeping my options open. Look, it's turbulent times over in the QuickBooks world at the moment, and I just need to, for the sake of my clients' sake, of everything else, we just need to keep options open on the table. And there's absolutely no chance I'm going to the world of zero. So,
Fair enough.
yeah, no, it should be good. Really looking forward to it. Really excited for it, and it's the England game that day as well. So, the night before. So I'm hoping to be in London for the England games, see what it's like, go all that sort of stuff. Be good fun. What about yourself, Johan? Anything exciting planned?
Shooting down to Manchester today for the Manchester Fusion event for Tax Calc and Engager tomorrow. So I'll see you there. You'll be the guy filming me on stage.
Is that how it's going to work? Oh,
yeah. So we'll be got a few different presentations and demos to do tomorrow for that. Back home for Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm in Richmond for speaking at an event and a summer barbecue with the group that I do a load of speaking for as a business for that business coach and his network. So that'll be nice. Although they've done the dirty on me again. Whenever they do these social ones where there's a day of speakers, social event in the evening, day of speakers the next day, they always land me on the next day for speaking. And quite frankly, talking tax and accounts when you've already got a hangover from the night before, not me, but the audience, that really, really nails that hangover of theirs right in there, I find.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to try and come up with some way of sparking some kind of fun in that presentation while they're all a bit tender from the night before. But I'm sure it will be fine. Cool. Well, that was episode 189 of Ask the Accountant, our weekly live show. 189, getting closer to that 200. And Paul says there's currently an ongoing issue on their service page. I think it's intermittent. I think it's mainly an issue if you're filing through their web filing service, is my understanding. It's not stopped us filing any accounts in my firm that I know of. So should be okay if you're using softwares. But yeah, as per usual, guys, it's always a pleasure. Make sure you share, like, and do all of that good stuff with these things. And we will see you all here next week for episode 190, where we'll be going through all the latest news and insights for the industry and the tech world as a whole. So that's everything, I think, Aaron. So are you ready to press the end button?
I am ready. Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.